Coming up on BCN today. Trash talk at Buckingham Palace after a video of Trudeau mocking President Trump goes viral. Plus, the International Day of Persons with Disabilities honors those for making our city more inclusive. And the cost of groceries going up another $500 a year. We have the details.
Your Canada. Your Southern Alberta. Your stories. From our studios in the heart of Lethbridge, it's BCN Today with Jeanette Roche.
Hello and thanks for joining us. The sister of a missing Southern Alberta man continues to ask the public to share his picture in the hope of him returning home safely 1 week after his burned out truck was found in Pemberton, BC. 26-year-old Marshall Iwasa was last seen by his family here in Lethbridge on November 17th. He was supposed to return to Calgary but hasn't been heard from since. Iwasa's sister, Paige Fogan, wrote about Marshall's disappearance on a Facebook group dedicated to his search efforts. She says it's been extremely hard knowing he still hasn't been found, adding she misses her brother so much it hurts. A link to the Facebook group will be shared on our website and social media. It's being described as trash talk at the palace. A video of Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, French President Emmanuel Macron, and British Prime Minister Boris Johnson at a NATO leaders reception at Buckingham Palace has gone viral. The three were caught on camera apparently talking candidly about Donald Trump when, with some observers suggesting the three were mocking the U.S. president. Johnson asks Macron why he was late to the event, and Trudeau apparently blames Trump for fielding journalist questions at the start of bilateral meetings. Take a look. In response, Trump says Trudeau is a nice guy, but he's two-faced.
Have you had a video of Prime Minister Trudeau talking about you last night?
Well, he's two-faced.
Do you think that Germany is too naive?
And honestly, with Trudeau, he's a nice guy. I find him to be a very nice guy. But, you know, the truth is that I called him out on the fact that he's not paying 2%. And I guess he's not very happy about it. I mean, you were there, a couple of you were there, and he's not paying 2%, and he should be paying 2%. It's Canada, they have money, and they should be paying 2%. So I called him out on that, and I'm sure he wasn't happy about it, but that's the way it is. Look, I'm representing the U.S., and he should be paying more than he's paying, and he understands it. So I can imagine he's not that happy, but that's the way it is.
Trump says Canada is slightly delinquent on defense spending, but otherwise gave our country a passing grade. The question came up during a meeting between Trump and Trudeau on the sidelines of the NATO summit in London. Canada spends around 1.3% of its GDP on defense and plans to increase spending to 1.4% by 2024, while other NATO members are agreeing to spend 2%. International Day of Persons with Disabilities aims to increase awareness and understanding of persons with disabilities and their issues that impact their lives. BCN's Loris Alexander was at CASA on Tuesday, where the 5th annual Lethbridge Inclusion Awards recognized those who make Lethbridge a more inclusive place for those with disabilities.
International Day of Persons with Disabilities is a United Nations Day that promotes the rights and well-being of people with disabilities.
The United Nations decreed for their agenda item for 2030 was leaving no one behind. And we believe that, in order for that to happen, we need empowerment, which is, giving people the authority and the power, to shape their own realities.
There's a lot of different committees all across Canada that put this together. We're not even the only one here in Alberta. But part of our event that makes us special is that we have the 5th annual Lethbridge Inclusion Awards today. And so those awards are recognizing local community members for 5 different categories: the collaborator, the supporter, the champion, the Community Compassion Awards.
We spoke with the winner of the Compassion Award and what drives her to work hard for her community.
I felt very humbled to be recognized in this way. I do the work because it needs to be done, because there's so many people out there that have the ability to advocate on their own behalf if they're given the opportunity. And I love that I am able to work with people that get an opportunity to actually speak up for themselves rather than other people always telling them what they're supposed to be doing.
The event also had panelists from the City of Lethbridge, the Lethbridge Diversity and Inclusion Alliance, and the YMCA about what they are doing for inclusivity.
Recreation is for everyone, no matter ability, no matter need. And so it's really important that the stakeholders and community members who are at today's event were able to hear about all the functions of our facility. You know, we're growing. We're at 8,700 members now, seeing about 33 to 40,000 drop-in users a month. But we would like those numbers to increase. And if that means we're increasing individuals with disabilities into that mix and making them find a welcome home at the YMCA, coming and providing them information today was, no cost to us and no real strain on us to come here.
For Bridge City News, I'm Loris Alexander.
Thank you, Loris. It was a busy day for City Transit on Tuesday as the annual Stuff a Bus campaign took place to gather food and cash donations for the Lethbridge and Interfaith food banks. Lethbridge Transit also held their annual Food for Fares, where all transit users could ride for free with a donation of a non-perishable food item.
The Stuff a Bus, we're working with the food banks, and the idea is that people bring donations and we try and fill a bus. And the second one, the Food for Fares, which was actually an idea that one of the transit operators had back in 2016, who suggested that we use food donations instead of cash for a ride. That was an initiative that was taken forward to the senior management team, who thought this was a great idea as to give back to the community. And so since 2016, we've done this one day a year with the two programs in conjunction with each other.
A special holiday remembrance program took place Tuesday night at the Martin Brothers Funeral Chapels. It was a chance to remember a special person in your life who passed away.
For many of us, this is the happiest season of the year, but for other people, it's the very saddest time of year. When people arrive this evening, they each receive a carnation. The carnation is a different color for the type of loss they've experienced. For instance, if you've lost a child, you get a white carnation. Therefore, you would find other people that have white carnations, and you would know then that they understand what you're going through. We invite you to come in, take a snowflake, and we will write the name of your loved one on the snowflake, and you get a chance to place it on the tree at the front of the chapel.
2 Lethbridge Hurricanes are being recognized for their hard work and talent. Both Dylan Cousins and Kaylin Addison have been named to the World Junior Selection Camp. 17 forwards, 10 defensemen, and 4 goalies will battle for Team Canada roster spots December 9th through the 12th in Oakville, Ontario. The 2020 World Junior Hockey Championships begin Boxing Day in the Czech Republic. Alberta's Fair Deal panel began its series of town halls in Edmonton last night. The panel was initiated by Premier Jason Kenney to see what Alberta can do to overcome policies restricting its economy. The options include pulling out of CPP and creating an Alberta police force. Most of the speakers Tuesday agreed Alberta needs a better deal, but want to see it done through cooperation rather than confrontation.
I think that we're on the wrong track here. I think this talk about a fair deal is stirring up things that don't make sense to me. Fair means, thank you. Fair means both sides benefit equally, or at least fairly. And I would remind the panel of that as you consider your deliberations. I'd also like to talk about the things I've seen as I've traveled across Canada. I've been in every province and territory at least 3 times. I've traveled extensively in this country. I have talked with Newfoundland fishermen who saw their cod fishery shut down by the federal government. They're not doing this. You don't hear Newfoundlanders talking about trying to get a fair deal. They're trying to come to Alberta and get work. We in Alberta actually tried to change the EI program so they had to come here. Ms. Lenny, I'm sure you remember that.
Yeah, I think we're not really getting a fair deal. Not the kind of situation where I want to go in a corner and curl up and cry, because that's not me, but I think we need to do something to get a better deal. And that better deal looks a little bit like what Quebec is getting from us Canadians now. Stand up and organize ourselves and speak up.
Researchers say climate change is to blame when it comes to why we'll be paying more for groceries next year. The annual food price report estimates the average family will pay up to $487 more to feed themselves. Researchers say snowstorms, droughts, and other weather events caused by climate change mean Canadian farmers will face challenges dealing with unpredictable crop yields. Next year, researchers expect price increases in all 8 food categories. They track with the biggest jump, 4 to 6% in meat. Canada's premiers agreed to press Ottawa for higher increases to healthcare funding, but most expressed hesitation about a national pharmacare program. The premiers also agreed to Jason Kenney's request for a financial top-up to provincial governments suffering in economic downturns.
For Albertans who have played an oversized role in the Canadian Federation, we are proud to have contributed $600 billion net to the rest of the Federation since 1960, and even during some really tough years where a lot of our people are out of work, losing their homes, that we have seen Albertans contributing net $20 billion a year plus to the rest of the country. So all we've asked for as an initial step is to lift this cap on the fiscal stabilization program. It basically gives us a little bit back of what we put into the Federation every year. And we will put that money, if the federal government follows through and listens to this unanimous recommendation from Canada's premiers, we'll put those funds, which we paid into the federal system, to work with job creation programs in Alberta. So I'm just delighted.
School's out, albeit temporarily, for high school students across Ontario today. Thousands of public high school teachers are holding a one-day strike after failing to reach a contract agreement with the provincial government. The Ontario Secondary School Teachers Federation confirmed the job action late last night. As a result of the strike, a number of school boards across the province have elected to shut their doors due to safety concerns. More bad press for Chinese tech giant Huawei. An ex-employee reports that he was thrown in jail for 8 months on extortion charges after attempting to negotiate a severance package. The company's reputation has also been repeatedly attacked by the U.S. and others over allegations of Communist Party control. Ottawa and Beijing remain embroiled in a diplomatic dispute over the Canadian arrest of Huawei's CFO and the Chinese detention of 2 Canadians. The House Judiciary Committee opens impeachment hearings against President Donald Trump this morning. It's being reported that the issue is no longer whether to impeach Trump, but rather on what exact charges to impeach him on. 4 university law professors will offer testimony on whether Trump should be impeached on abuse of power, obstruction, or both. Many in London, England are still on edge following the recent stabbing on London Bridge. Our foreign affairs expert Lisa Daftari says the scary part about the recent terrorist attack is that the man who did the stabbing was a known terrorist who was released from prison.
You know, it seems like the moment any country, particularly in Europe, they let their hair down, they take a sigh of relief. There's another do-it-yourself type of terror attack. It was claimed by ISIS, and most importantly, this individual already served time for terrorism. I mean, let that sink in. He's a terrorist. Why was he roaming the streets? Why was he roaming the streets, able to carry out another type of attack like this when all they need is a kitchen knife?
Lisa will have more on terror movements in Europe and a story about how a recent gun battle in Mexico left 21 people dead. That's coming up in the second half of our show. Well, nice double-digit temperatures are on the way today, but so are wind gusts of 40 to 60 kilometers per hour. A full look at weather is coming up after the break. Welcome back. Here's a look at our weather highlights for today and tomorrow in Lethbridge. Nice double-digit temperature rising up to 11 degrees today with scattered clouds, a low of -5 overnight, and then a high of 0 tomorrow. We could see a chance of flurries coming out tomorrow, though. Also look out for those wind gusts of 40 to 60 kilometers per hour today. Looking ahead to the 5-day forecast, a mix of sun and cloud on Friday with a high of 10 degrees. A high of 8 is expected for Saturday with also scattered clouds there. Sunday, we could see a chance of flurries and the temperature dropping down to -10, rising to -3 on Monday and up again more to 2 degrees on Tuesday with lots of sunshine as well. The average highs and lows for this time of year, the almanac says that we should be looking at temperatures of around 1 degree for a high and -11 for a low. The highest temperature on this day was 17 degrees. That was in 1939. And back in 1972, it was -32. The sun rose this morning at 10 after 8 a.m. and will be setting this afternoon at 4:33 p.m., giving us only about 8 hours and 20 minutes of sunlight these days. Looking to the national forecast, the West Coast will see rain today, a high of 9 degrees in Victoria and 8 degrees in Vancouver. Up in Edmonton, they're going to see a chance of snow up there with -1 as the high, and 0 degrees will be the high in Calgary. They're going to also be seeing a chance of flurries today as well. Snow is expected in Saskatoon with a high of -2, and Regina will see a mix of sun and cloud with a high of 0. A high of -1 is expected today in Winnipeg, and lots of clouds over there. Looking over to Toronto, they're going to be seeing some showers today with a high of 2 degrees, but it's going to be snowing up in Ottawa and Montreal, a high of 1 degree in Ottawa and a high of 0 in Montreal. More precipitation is expected in Atlantic Canada. Flurries are expected in Fredericton today with a high of 1 degree. A mix of snow and rain and sleet conditions in Halifax, high of 2 degrees. Snow is expected in Charlottetown with a high of 0, and a nice 8-degree high is expected in St. John's today. That's your weather. Here's what's happening in your community.
Here's your Bridge City News Community Calendar. An annual City Hall tradition begins this week with the Sounds of the Season concert series. Enjoy your favorite holiday classics performed by various local choirs and bands during the weeks leading up to Christmas. Plus, take part in the Christmas Hope campaign by donating unwrapped toys, gifts, and non-perishable food items. For more information and performance times, visit lethbridge.ca. Come for a festive evening to Crossroads Counseling's Shine the Light Christmas celebration and fundraiser on Friday, December 6th, beginning at 6 p.m. at the Coast Lethbridge Hotel. Enjoy a full-course dinner, a silent auction, and live musical entertainment featuring the Freedom House Choir, Westside Choir, and the Evangelical Free Church Praise Choir. Tickets are $50 per person and can be purchased at the Crossroads Counseling Office. The YWCA Lethbridge and District's annual Stockings of Hope campaign is underway until Monday, December 16th. Each year, this initiative helps women in crisis experience the joy of the Christmas season by providing them with gifts and much-needed personal items. Residents and businesses can stop by the YWCA to adopt the stocking and fulfill a Christmas wish by purchasing some or all of the gifts on the list, then return the gifts unwrapped to the YWCA by December 16th. For more information about this worthy cause, call 403-329-0088. And that's your Bridge City News Community Calendar.
Want to get the smells of Christmas flowing through your home? Today's daily life hack will save you having to buy a diffuser. Take a new furnace filter and your favorite essential oil, sprinkle some of the oil on the filter and place it inside your furnace. Circulate the air around the house and enjoy the smell of Christmas. And voila, that's your daily life hack. A puppy, which is thought to be around 18,000 years old, was found preserved in permafrost in eastern Russia. The pupsicle was discovered last summer and is believed to be the oldest canine ever discovered in the area. It was found well preserved with fur, teeth, and even whiskers. Radiocarbon dating by Swedish scientists confirmed the puppy had been frozen for around 18,000 years. The remaining original members of the rock band The Who say they're still haunted by the deadly concert stampede that killed 11 people in Cincinnati in 1979. The stampede happened as fans rushed for their seats. A memorial was held this week to remember the 11 who died.
Weird thing to have in your autobiography that, 11 kids died at one of your concerts. It's a strange, disturbing, heavy load to carry.
No, you don't feel guilty, but equally you do think, well, if we hadn't been playing a show in Cincinnati that night, 11 people would still be alive.
Another gun battle involving drug cartels in Mexico left 21 people dead. So, is it still safe to travel to Mexico for a tropical vacation? Our foreign affairs expert Lisa Daftari gives us her thoughts coming up in the second half of the show after the break. Stay with us.